Hey guys, it's Glenn from glenscarcollection.com, and today I'm not inside my 2017 Panamera Turbo. That actually has a recall for a rear seatbelt, so my loaner car is a 2023 base Cayenne. It's really hot in here, so let me start the car up. Just like my Porsche, it has the permanent key on the left. You keep the key fob in your pocket. Start it up. Now, what I don't like about the new cars is kind of you have to sign in and have an account here. Since it's a loaner car, I can continue as a guest, but every single time I turn on the car, I have to do that. Now, the key looks exactly like my 2017 Porsche Panamera. I'm sure you could get a painted key, but this car is black, the color, and it is a free color. Now, this is the loudest air conditioning system I've ever heard in my life. So I got a louder than my car, which is surprising because I think my car is a similar size to this car. But it's a hot day, so we're gonna have to put it on. We're gonna have to slum it a little bit here. This is a 6-cylinder, so 3-liter twin turbo V6, 335 horsepower, 0 to 60 in about 5.9 seconds. Now, there's a lot of things I like about the Cayenne, and I'm going to compare it to the Macan since we did a video on that recently, because that was my last loaner car. So the instrumentation here is very similar. It has heated and cooled seats. Now, it has the Sport button, but no Sport Plus like my Panamera Turbo, just a Sport button like my 2017 Carrera has. And what that means is you have no Sport Chrono. So when I had the Macan S looking real quick, I thought I had Sport Chrono because I thought this was the stopwatch, but it isn't. It's just a clock. So that's how Porsche does now. It's probably cheaper to build. That's either the stopwatch if you get the Sport Chrono, which will give you a Sport Plus mode, plus launch control. If you don't get that option, then what you get is just a sport mode and a regular clock here. All right, so the same volume control and controls that I have a couple extra options. So Porsche leaves blank buttons where you don't have those options. And my car is the smoker's package, and us enthusiasts, my 911 has it as well, because you get an outlet here, not necessarily to smoke. It's basically an outlet in a it's a cigarette lighter and an ashtray, but we use it to plug in our radar detector and keep coins. So here, I guess it would just be a coin bin. Now, but even though you don't have the smoker's package, you still get the 12-volt right here that I guess you can plug your radar detector and it's right nearby. What I don't like about my Panamera that I like better in this car is cup holders. They fit any size. So a small water bottle to my big jug here. My Panamera, if you've seen the videos, has a small one in front that does a small water bottle and a big one in the back for this water bottle. So I have to kind of keep it back here, which is kind of out of the way. I'd rather just have two front and center where you could keep it anywhere. Now here you would plug in your USB. There's two USB ports here. My car is not wireless Bluetooth. I believe these 2023s are, but my two cars, the 911 and the Panamera Turbo, are 2017. So you have Apple CarPlay. I'm sorry, it's Bluetooth wireless. It's the Apple CarPlay. It has to be plugged in for those cars. I believe the new cars are wireless. Now, a lot of, I'm sure you guys play around with the vents here. The vents on the side are very strong. The vents here are kind of weak, but another advantage I like over my car with this Cayenne is I can do this manually. My car, I can't do that. I have to go on a screen and turn it. This I can actually go on my own, and it works much, much better. I guess Porsche came around like that party trick on the 2017 Panameras, or for those years, are not that functional. Here you can play around with it all you want. All right, so one thing I like about the Cayenne over, we're gonna leave the air running just because it's too hot. One thing I like about, we probably have to shut it off. One thing I like about the Cayenne over the Macan is it's actually 7 inches longer and 4 inches wider, and a lot of that goes to back seat room. So being 6 feet tall, I cannot sit behind myself. In this car, I can, no problem. So if you have tall kids, remember little kids turn into big kids. I have a ton of leg room here, size 13 feet, no problem. A ton of leg room. And the Macan, I can't get my feet even under the seat in my driving position. Like most cars, you have a double pane sunroof. The first one goes over the second one. You have your own HVAC controls here. There's more options where you could add heated seats and stuff like that. Base price on something like this, a base kind, is $79,200. I think with destination, it's about $80,500. But you take a couple option boxes and you're going to be at $100,000 right away. So much bigger back seat on this than the Macan. I think it depends what your normal daily driver is. If you have a big SUV, you can get away with the Macan. If you have a small SUV or sports cars like I do, you probably need the Cayenne if you have tall kids. So these are the mats that come with the car. This is a service loaner. I'm sure it's for sale. And the back seats fold down, so you can easily have the child locks, child anchors here for baby seats. You could easily fit a lot of room here. It's a pretty big trunk, much more than the Macan. The Macan kind of gets cut off, and you got deep storage pockets. Very easy to close. You can set it whatever height you want and just press this button. I really like the look of the Cayenne. You got the 4 exhaust pipes. You got a trailer hitch on this one over here. And I really like this. It's hard to see, but it's kind of like this white clear stripe here, like smoke glass, and I really like how that looks. Rear window wiper, unlike most 911s anyway. All right, we're going to start it up again, and we'll take it for a drive, and we'll compare this to the Macan I just reviewed a couple months ago. The last time, actually my 911 was in for a warranty repair. You can see that video. And they gave me a Macan, which I had for 3 weeks because they had trouble getting the parts in or something like that. And this actually, for the Panamera Turbo, all Panameras in that 2017 range, when they redid the model, had a recall for a seatbelt that could become loose or tighten in the back seat. It made an appointment, requested a loaner car, because as you know, I'm a commercial real estate broker. I always need to have a 4-door car, and I have 2 kids that are both very tall for their age. And you know, after the car's been there for a few hours, they just told me they don't have the part. So I wasted the morning at the dealership. But so let's talk about the Cayenne. Cayenne 0 to 60 with this base engine, about 5.9 seconds. If we opt for Sport Chrono, we get about 0.2 of a second, maybe 0.3 of a second. And why is it faster? Because we have launch control. Gas mileage is 19 city, 23 highway, so an average of 20. Which is actually good for an SUV this size. Again, as I mentioned, it does feel a size bigger. It's got some pep because it is turbocharged, so it has some torque. I forget what the torque figures are, 360 something, 368. So you do, it does feel more powerful. We'll do a highway acceleration at the end of this road, and we'll see how it does merging into traffic. Again, 4 inches wider, so that feels like another size car. Most cars are about 3 inches wider when they're wider than another model in the competitor. And a lot of times, you know, the difference between some cars could only be 2 inches longer, 4 inches longer. This is 7 inches longer than the Macan, and that's why the back seat is so spacious. This is the loudest ever I've heard on an HVAC system. I thought my Panamera Turbo was loud. This is really loud, and it's almost got like a squeal to it. So I don't know if that's the microphone picking it up or, but I have to lower it. And unless I raise it to at least, and it's 85 degrees, if I raise the temperature to 70, then it'll die down a little bit, the fan. Anything less than that, it really gives a high fan speed. Handling is pretty good. You do feel the weight. It is a heavy car, like my Panamera. My Panamera has all the electronics, and that really makes a difference. Not only am I much lower to the ground, I have Sport Plus that lowers it another inch. You see we had probably like a 4x4, which it is. Ride height here. Whoa, don't run the stop sign. Come on, seriously? I could probably make a compilation video. I have 1,000 videos on YouTube. So thanks for subscribing. If you're new here, please subscribe, like, share, comment on every video. That helps me out in the algorithm. If I put those 1,000 videos together, I probably have hundreds of videos of just people running red lights in front of me or running stop signs in front of me. There is another example of somebody almost doing that. But anyway, so stay safe out there. I really like how it handles. I really like it feels premium in here, even though this is just the base model. Unless you need the acceleration, there's a million different versions of the Cayenne. I couldn't even tell you how many versions, but there's hybrids and GTSs and S's and turbos and turbo S's and all kinds of stuff that, you know, honestly, if you're just going to use this the way it's meant to be, an SUV, going to work, dropping the kids off, maybe going to Home Depot on the weekends, you're probably just fine with the base, and you don't have to spend the extra money. Though $100,000 for a base model, once you add $20,000 in options, which is very, very easy to do, isn't really ideal. Maybe the best bet is to get a slightly used one. I've seen used ones with, let's say, 8,000 miles on them for about 80 grand. So they could be an 80, 90,000 mile MSRP, and you can probably get a slightly used one for that 80 range. Obviously, if you go years further, older ones, you can do a lot less. I highly recommend CPO. I bought 2 Porsche CPO now, and you get usually the end of the 4-year, 50,000 mile warranty. As long as you don't exceed those 50,000 miles in the first 4 years, you would then keep that warranty, and then when that warranty expires, get the 2 years. So for example, I bought 2 of them. I'll tell you how it works. 2017 Porsche 911 that I bought in 2020 had 1 year left of the 4-year 50,000 mile warranty. So I had a whole year, and then when that expires, the 2-year unlimited mile warranty kicks in. And the mileage would be unlimited as long as you don't hit 50,000 miles in that 4-year 50. Now my Panamera Turbo I bought this year in 2023. It's also the same year, 2017. So the way that works is the 4-year 50,000 mile warranty already expired, but the car had under 50,000 miles. So I get 2 years unlimited mile warranty, and you're able to pay for a third one. I didn't need to pay for a third one on the 911 because I already got a third one. 1 year remaining of the 4-year 50,000 mile warranty, and then the CPO warranty, which follows that, 2 years, 2 years unlimited miles. So essentially I had 3 years unlimited miles. I doubled, tripled the mileage, but I bought the car with such low miles, 8,000, that, and I had a warranty repair. Watch my video on the 36 month, that was like 2,500 bucks to fix. So it was good that I had 3 years of that warranty that I didn't have to pay for. So the Panamera, to add the 3rd year, again, that's some even more expensive car. It had a sticker of 208. 208,000, yes, 208,000 off a 149 base price, so 60,000 in options. I just did a video probably a week ago I posted with those 60,000 of options. So I paid for a 3rd year because obviously a lot of things can go wrong on an expensive $200,000 car. All right, so let's do acceleration, 0 to 65.9 seconds. Now it feels peppier around town than it did on the highway. It felt very linear there. I didn't really feel a turbo shove. Going around 25 to 40 miles an hour on the other speed limits, I actually did. So it's probably geared to kicking very low, these turbos, and that gives you a little grunt when you're driving around town. Not so much grunt merging on the highway, and I would assume trying to pass a slow car in the left lane on the highway. But the ride is very comfortable, even with these big wheels and tires. That's certainly a running cost to consider. Like, why wouldn't, of course you'd want to buy a Porsche as opposed to any, you know, maybe an Acura like I have, RDX, or a BMW X3 or something like that. But one of the differences is going to be running costs. Services are going to be a lot more expensive, especially if you get them done at the dealer, and you're going to pay a lot more money for tires and brakes because you have bigger tires and bigger brakes. This would be a great road trip car, very comfortable, very spacious. Again, 7 inches longer than the Macan, 4 inches wider, so you have a lot more room in this car. They were going to give me a Macan loaner car, and I said, you know what? Do you have a Cayenne? Because I wanted to try that out. You guys watched my Macan video. Thank you very much. And so I figured, I don't think I've ever, I did review a Cayenne, but I was an older one in 2016 or something like that, which was newer at the time when this channel started in 2017. All right, so we're gonna get off the highway here. It's kind of twisty at the end here, so we'll put the weight again to the test. Now, this is an 8-speed torque converter automatic, so one thing compared to the Macan, which was a 7-speed dual clutch, it's a lot smoother around town. My Panamera Turbo is a dual clutch, and it is not as smooth as the Cayenne around town. So my Panamera kills it in handling. It's lower to the ground. It's got 4-wheel steering. It's got what they call PDCC, which is Porsche Dynamic Chassis Control. So it actually drives like a big sports car, maybe even a big 911, if you will. That's a little bit of an exaggeration. This drives great on the commute because you got a torque converter automatic. You don't have the jerkiness of a dual clutch transmission. Like, I have to go very careful in the school pickup line and the school drop-off line so that dual clutch doesn't get jerky in line, where this is nice and smooth because torque converter automatic. All right, so we don't have Sport Plus, but let's drive in Sport. So the biggest difference you'll notice in Sport, at 40 miles an hour, it'll drop us to 4th gear instead of 6th gear. So if we drive in normal mode, it's going to try to get the least consumption possible, the best gas mileage, so it'll really stay in the high gears. When we are driving this car, it's going to do everything possible in Sport mode to stay in the lower gears. This guy took his half in the middle, and so did the next person. All right. Now, I noticed in my Panamera Turbo, so I'm going to think the same thing in the Macan, is really to get the maximum acceleration, you really got to be in Sport and Sport Plus. So remember, this doesn't have Sport Plus, it just has Sport. So really, if you want that 5.9 seconds to 60, and do you need that in your family SUV? Probably not. you really need to probably be in sport mode to achieve that. But it will hold the gears for you if you're passing somebody in the highway or going around somebody like we just did. It will keep in the lower gears so you're ready to accelerate again. Now, where I live, there's a ton of Macans and Cayennes, so you're definitely not going to stand out driving one, especially in black. That's probably, I would say, black or white are the most popular color. I don't really like the color white, but I would say the Cayenne looks and the Macan look very good in white. The rental that I had, the loaner car that I had last time, was a white Macan S, and I thought that was a good looking car. All right, leave your questions below on the Cayenne in the comments, and make sure you always leave a comment, because that helps me in the YouTube algorithm, even if you're just saying, hi Glenn, thanks for the video. And as always, let me know what car you want me to review next. Once there's enough comments for that car, I will go to a dealer or an individual and get that car to review for you guys. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. And yeah, Cayenne is great. I mean, obviously I would probably get it a CPO. I think CPO Porsches are the best because these cars do depreciate. You can get a long-term warranty, 2-3 years. Ooh, E46 M3, nice. And I've owned a few of those, and I think you really have a great fun SUV. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.